What's up, you guys?
Alright, you guys, so I'm here with a new video today, and the title says it all. I played 3 days in a row at 3 different locals, and I topped all 3 of them. I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, we got a big shot over here. He topped locals. Oh my, next national champion, right? I know what you guys are thinking. It's just locals, but one thing I will say is that locals is the stepping stone for any Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. The ability to go to your locals if you have one, an official OTS store, and earn UDS points, earn OTS packs, etc., and actually get to play the game is awesome. It's number one. That's at least a stepping stone before you venture out to more like competitive things like regionals, YCS nationals, etc. And believe it or not, I played all meta. I'm shocked. I know, I'm shocked too. I played all meta decks. It floored me. I really thought, oh god, I'm going to play a bunch of random, decks that I don't even know what they do, or, some random, rogue decks that I'm going to have to read every card and it's going to suck, and that didn't happen. So I'm going to show you guys what I played. It is Thunder Dragons. You guys already know I love the deck. I changed it up from the Pasadena list, and this list was absolutely amazing. One thing I will tell you, I'll preface it by saying that the locals on Friday, the first one, I basically just copied the second place deck from Milan. It was 43 cards with the double Desires. I didn't like it. Desires was just subpar for me. I drew it like once and it was okay, but I definitely just didn't like the vibe of the deck, so I went back to what I was comfortable with, and this proved to be more effective as I played it for the next 2 days, and it was just great. And honestly, I don't think I'd even change anything in the main deck, so we'll get into it. I'm not going to explain too much. You guys should know pretty much Thunder Dragons by now, but of course you got to play 3 OG Thunder Dragon. Like I said, I still think this is one of the best cards in the deck. Comboing it with Titan is insane. Plus when you draw it, you're able to hard fusion a Colossus with it, so it's really solid. 3 Dark, 3 Hawk. I played the 3 Roar. I played the 3 Matrix and the 1 Duo. So these are 16 Thunder Dragons. I believe this is the ideal amount. I am playing the 3rd Roar because of Brilliant Fusion. You guys already know that. I know that this card can be a brick. Believe it or not, I usually side a copy out. I fill out of all of them. You just really can't do much with it. Like, the worst case scenario, I've discarded Roar to add back a Hawk and then hawked back the Roar to be able to, go into a Colossus. But that play is so terrible. Like, I hate doing it. But I feel all these other cards are essential. Originally, I thought about playing 2 Duo, or 2 Matrix, but it came up, having the 3rd, being able to search it, having it. Its 2,000 defense is actually relevant against certain decks, so it was just great overall. Plus, I like being able to go into Link Kuriboh, and then if I bring it back or whatever, or have another play, I'm able to go into a Colossus underneath the Link Kuriboh, even at the worst case scenario. And Duo is a staple. If you're not playing this card, I don't think you're playing the deck right. This card is absolutely insane. It chain blocks Titan. It chain blocks so many cards because you're banishing a light and a dark, triggering them. You use a card in hand, like a quick effect like Dark or Matrix, and it gains 300, gets its other effect, and you just chain block everything. So I think this card is a staple in the deck. Like, if you're not playing it, I don't think you're playing the deck right at all. So yeah, very standard. The cards are amazing. I think Thunder Dragon is just an awesome deck. 2 Solar. I know in my Pasadena profile I said I was going to go up to 3, but I realized it just really wasn't necessary. I still saw it enough, and even when I didn't have it, cards like Brilliant Fusion and Instant Fusion basically are the same thing. Like, yes, this does generate a token, but believe it or not, that didn't happen as much as you would think. But card's still good. I'd definitely still play it too. But definitely the MVP, Denko, main deck Denko. Shout out to my boy James. This card is insane. Like, I don't know how I was not playing it at Pasadena. This card won me so many games against Striker. I just OTK'd with this card and this card. Yeah, I played a BLS. So when I said on the Friday local, I played the 43 cards. I did have the BLS and the 2 Desires and, the main deck Denko. But I realized that, like, having the BLS was actually really strong. Out of all the Chaos Monsters next to Duo, I wanted just one. I thought about playing Levianeer, but the thing was is there was no way to search it, even though it was like a dragon. It just didn't work with the Thunder Dragons as well as I wanted to, and it required 3 cards to be banished, whereas this only required 2. And this was like an OTK enabler, and I can't tell you how many times I OTK'd with these 2 cards alone. This card is the Denko is searchable off the Fusion, which I always try to resolve turn 1, so Denko was usually always live for me, either turn 2 or if I started against a back row deck and I had a way to get to it, it was amazing. So these cards were great, and I would honestly keep the same ratio. I think 1 BLS is fine. If you play any more, you're really risking bricking on the card, so 1 was perfect. Then of course the one Amber because of Brilliant Fusion. And then for the hand traps, I just played 3 Ash and 3 Impermanents. I cut the Ogres. That was the difference in the deck. I tried playing the Ogres as well on Friday. It did nothing for me. It really didn't do anything for me. It was so good at the regionals because I hit multi-roll, but I noticed like, yeah, I was hitting multi-roll, but honestly, if I was searching Denko, it didn't matter what they multi-rolled. I was Denko locking them out, and then I could just usually OTK them or just, push the game so far in my favor that they couldn't do anything. So I decided to cut the Ogres, and I was much happier with these hand traps. I bricked less, and these cards were great against like the Rongo decks and against just pretty much everything. I think these are the best hand traps in the game right now. So that's it for the monsters and the traps. And then the spells were just very standard. A lot of 3-ofs, 3 Gold Sark, 3 Thunder Dragon Fusion. This is the best card in the deck. I don't care what anyone says. This card is absolutely bonkers. I am always trying to resolve this turn 1. I feel if you resolve this turn 1, you're playing the deck correct. You need to be aggressive with this deck. Like, some people are passive, but like, I feel like your ability, if you're playing 3 Titan, which you should be playing 3 Titan, it's okay to, hard fuse into 1 with this and then still end with your double Colossus Titan. But having resolved this is so important because it sets up your next turn play. And usually being able to search Denko against Striker or Geist means you're going to summon it, you're going to lock out their back row, and you're going to OTK on that turn. I feel this card is a staple at 3. I love this card. I thought it might brick at 3, but it usually doesn't. So card is insane, honestly. And then the main starters, the 3 Brilliant and the 3 Instant. I mean, you have to play these cards. Like, you have to play Brilliant. Brilliant is such a good starter. I've noticed some builds that play that don't play Instant Fusion. They play the little mini Chaos Dragons, and that's actually something that I do actually like. I do see where Brilliant would be better than Instant because, this is a much better starter card. I like Instant, though. Being able to go into Thousand Eyes is so insane in the mirror match. Like, that's one of the main reasons I still play Instant. I think having the 2 targets in Kaminari Warrior and Thousand Eyes is just amazing. And then I played Reborn. This card still is subpar in my opinion. Like, yes, it's Monster Reborn. I know. I think it's so much better in the Rongo deck. I played against it and like I was like, okay, he's going, and then he had Reborn and it like changed everything, and I'm just like, man, I'm like, why does Reborn not do that for me? But I still play it. I side it out sometimes, but I think like this card is better than Soul Charge. I want my battle phase, so I felt this card was just better overall, and it's my 40th card. So that was it for the main deck. Extremely standard, but extremely consistent. I'll tell you one thing, this deck was very consistent. I don't even think I bricked, to be honest. I think I bricked 1 game, actually, at locals on day 2, but other than that, deck was very consistent, so I was very happy with it. Extra deck, first off, the Broken Tokens, Duel Links, and the Mecha Phantom Beasts. Trying to collect them all. I need to get there's multiple arts, like I have that one, this one, 2 copies of this one. I need to get the other one. I think it's pointing the other way. But yeah, I want to get those, and then of course the Striker token. But yeah, the Duel Links token's broken. Extra deck, pretty standard. Still the 3 Colossus and the 3 Titan. This card is the absolute stones. Like, Titan's insane. Titan does everything you want it to do. It's honestly becoming my favorite card even over Colossus. Like, I like putting this card up. This puts a lot of pressure. 3,200 defense is insane too. Like, in the mirror, like just having this card is nuts. It resolves multiple times, and whoever can just play this card better, protect it better, is going to win. So I feel you have to play 3. I feel it's a disservice to the deck to play 2 because you're going to go through them so quickly. You want to just keep recycling with Fusion, and that's how you just keep your resources and you just win. Prismora for the Brilliant, Thousand Eyes, and Kaminari for the Instant Fusion. This card comes up a lot. Hardest card to find, I swear. This card's insane, though. This card is so good against everything. Like, just being able to take their monster, link up into Linkuriboh is nuts. I really like this. I like this card a lot. I think this card does a lot for the deck, and I feel you should be playing it, especially if you're playing Instant Fusion. And this is for Brilliant. You guys already know. I think it's cool. There's just the fact that, this is a Thunder, and it works with, any of the cards, so you can just make a Titan and just start comboing off. Like, that's usually your standard play, is you have this, and then you just banish this into Thunder in hand, and you start doing your combos after you summon Titan, so very, very solid. Then for the links, 1 Linkuriboh. Summoned it a lot more than I thought I would. I drew Matrix a lot, and a lot of times, like, I kind of played the deck like Dragon Rulers. I want to resolve all 4 of my rulers in 1 turn, so I basically did the same thing, and being able to resolve Matrix, like even linking it off for this, and then hawking something or whatever and bringing another guy, and then having Colossus under this was pretty solid too, because they had to answer this before they could get back to my other monsters. So I had like multiple lines of defense, so this card was cool. And sometimes, like I said, you might start slow and have only Matrix, so you got to be able to do something. 2 Summoners. I thought about cutting this to 1. I thought, like, I'm not really going to ever, go into a second one, but then I realized in the mirror, this is the better card to have over Landphonicus. Like, I know Landphonicus is a generic Link too, but I still felt this card was better. Like, I would rather, take their Dragon. If I'm not fusing with it, I want to go into some Summoner, because then at least if I discard this, turns into another Colossus of my own, so card was good. Then 1 Unicorn. This is self-explanatory. This is the best Nightmare, I feel. 1 Borreload. You need this for the mirror. I used it in the mirror. I just Borreload a Borreload. Yeah, card's insane. And then still, one of my MVPs, Gustav Max. I Gustav Maxed a lot of people. They don't respect it, so they lose to it. Like, I can't tell you how many times I just put them in shotgun range of this card and then just summon it, and they're like, what does that do? I'm like, it burns you for 2,000. That's game. And yeah, it was game, so. Card is nuts. I know I should probably cut it, but I don't think I'm going to. Card's insane. Okay, on to my side deck. So my side deck pretty much stayed the same. I only... there'll be 2 cards in here that were different. They're actually the first 2 cards, so Lancia. So on Friday, I played 2 rivalries, and then I just really realized that I didn't like the card. I didn't like it at all. I thought it would be good against Rongo Turbo, and then I didn't even draw it, but like I realized I was watching them play, and I was watching every play go through, and I was like, Warriors, 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 and then I was like, you know what? Rivalry wouldn't do anything for me. Like, yes, it would stop them when they go Summon Sork, but I feel that there's better ways to stop that. So I ended up cutting those, and I put in Lancia, and if you guys saw my hand trap video, this card is the Stones. Holy crap, this card is the Stones. It's so good against the Rongo deck, so good against the Mirror Match. You cut them off from so many things like Malicious, the Phantom Knights, the Sword, which again is just nuts, and you cut, the Mirror Match off, etc. And if you ever play against Invoke, this is an amazing card. Like, this card overall was really, like, insane. Like, it's insane how good this card was. So, it may be even a card I bump up to 3. Like, I'm trying to play more 2 of so that I don't, oversee them. But, oh no, this card is pretty good. I still play in the 2 Prankatops. This card is nuts against Altergeist, Paleo, Strikers, everything. This card's just really good. Like I said, it's the best common they've ever printed, in my opinion. One of the best commons. And then I played a second Denko. I got a lot of mileage out of Denko. I wanted to have another copy, just because, like, if I could open one, cool. If I couldn't, if I could search one, like, it's all I needed. This card is nuts against Striker and Altergeist. Like, it just wins the game flat out, because you can usually OTK them if you set up your field properly with, like, the Fusion card. You should have game. And then just some generic stuff. The 3 Twin, I mean, for Altergeist, back row decks, Strikers, etc. This card's good. Oh, for Pendulums. Yeah, there were Pendulums, so this card's just really good. You just got to know when to... You're able to hit, not only hit the scales, but you also know, like, you could put, like, decent cards in the graveyard to set up your Chaos plays. For the Mirror Match, I played the 3 Mind Control and the 1 Super Poly. So these cards were nuts. Super Poly, I only got it off once, but when I did, it was automatic game. He put up 2 fusions, and I just summoned a monster of my own, and then I just Super Poly'd all 3, and I mean, what can I say? This card, I really didn't think this card was going to be that good, but it blew my mind. And then the 3 Mind Control standard for the Mirror Match. Card's really good. Then I played 2 Evenly. I really wasn't sure if I wanted to play this, if I wanted to play Red Reboot. This was mostly for Altergeist, but then I realized, like, Red Reboot doesn't do anything against Striker, whereas this card does. This card is also good against Pendulums when they go all out, so this gave me a versatile side deck card. I wasn't 100% sold on it originally, because I thought, I don't want to give up my battle phase, but then I realized I can evenly them, still have 5 cards in hand, and still set up a board, and usually they can't break it because they lost too many resources. So I could skip one battle phase and then hopefully win after they pass their next turn, or set up a subpar board. And then, of course, win condition. Card's nuts against Striker. I opened it against Striker, and it was insane. So yeah, so that was the deck, you guys. Now just on to the matches and stuff. For those of you that are wondering, I actually played a lot of meta, like a lot more meta than I thought I would. So on Friday, round 1, I played against Goki. I ended up beating that 2-0. Gustav Max is a powerful card. Being able to burn him in time is good. Just knowing to, impermanence the Summon Sork was huge, so that was really solid. Round 2, I played against Pendulums. I 2-0'd him. He bricked hard, unfortunately. Game 1 and Game 2, I even lead him, and the game was over. So, and then round 3, I ended up losing to Altergeist. Actually, I lost in time. I couldn't actually do anything. I had Lost Wind is a very strong card against his deck, if you guys don't know. So, yeah, shout out to him, though. He played really well. And Altergeist is usually a really hard matchup for this deck, but I'm familiar with Altergeist, so I knew what I was doing, but unfortunately I just couldn't get past like all the back row and everything. And I didn't have Ash for Desire, so it kind of sucked. I was like, oh god, he's getting 2 more cards. So, it, you know, it kind of spiraled out of control, which is usually how Altergeist goes. And I know that was only a 3-round local, but it was basically all meta. I still count Pendulums as meta. They ended up getting second at the ARG, so they're definitely still in the meta. The next day I played against round 1 Paleozoic, and I actually lost. I actually like legit lost this game. I played against someone who actually topped with Paleo before, and we went to game 3, and I literally like going second. Like I literally had only 1 fusion I could summon, and it was just subpar to like his Toad and like back rows. It was just like, man, this sucks. And then he was able to resolve. I can't remember what he resolved, but he was able to get like double Miss Starboy and stuff, and I just knew, I was like, man, there's no coming back from this. Like I was too far behind, and Lost Wind again is like insane against his deck, so I actually lost that, and I am fine with losing to that because I just couldn't I had side deck cards for it, I just couldn't like see them and whatnot. So guy was really good though, definitely one of the best matches I had. Then I played round 2 and round 3 both against Striker. I 2-0'd them both. Denko BLS is broken, that's all I'm gonna say. It's absolutely broken. Denko is insane. And then round 4 I played against Rongo Bongo Turbo, and I 2-0'd it. He bricked game 1. I impermanenced, what did I do? I impermanenced the Summon Stork. I think I ashed, let me see, I think I ashed Isolde game 1, and then game 2, like I impermanenced the Summon Stork. Oh no, I ashed, and then I went Lancia, and Lancia just won me the game because he couldn't do anything. Even though he had Armageddon, like he couldn't banish, he couldn't search, like he couldn't do anything. So the card was insane. And then day 3. So if you're noticing one thing, they didn't do top cut at these first 2 locals. They just don't do it. Some locals don't do that. I don't know how your guys' locals work, but there wasn't any top cut. But I was top 4 for both of them, so it is what it is. I mean, like I'm just trying to get UDS points if you guys want to know the truth. I just wanted to play, and I wanted to get OTS 9, so that was like the main reason. And then yesterday, or not yesterday, but at the last locals, round 1, I played against Thunder Dragons, and I 2-0'd it. Really nice guy. He just came back to the game, though, so he was unfamiliar with, you know, a lot of the combos in the deck, but having instant fusion and mind control between game 1 and game 2 was insane. Round 2, I played against number 86 Turbo. Game 1, I went first. I won the die roll, fortunately. You know, set up my board of triple fusion. He just couldn't get out. I ended up tightening, popping his normal summon warrior, so he couldn't even go into his ult, so he just scooped. Game 2, he Rongo'd me, and then game 3, basically the same thing. I set up the right board, and he had a really hard time answering it because under Colossus, like he sent the wrong Phantom Knight and he couldn't search, so there was nothing he could do, so I was able to push for game the next turn. Round 3, I ended up getting a draw with Pendulums. That deck's actually, like, that deck's still scary. Like, you can have the answer for Electrum, but they can still, you know, Pendulum, like, multiple monsters, and it can be a problem because he was playing the heavy negate boards that can negate, you know, your spells, that can negate your monsters. Apex Avion was right next to me, like another Pendulum player, so it was insane. I definitely, I felt I had good side deck cards for Pendulum, but definitely a deck you need to respect. Then round 4, I played against Thunder Dragons again, and I ended up 2-0ing it. That was the game that I super polyed. Game 1, I went first, and I set up a strong board, and he just kind of bricked, couldn't do much. And game 2, I super polyed him, so I just won right there, so it was insane. And then in the top cut, this time we had a top cut, I played against Altergeist, ended up winning 2-0. Unfortunately, he just bricked, and like I said, I knew how to play against Geist. I knew what cards to hit, and I knew to snipe you know, back rows. I knew to snipe the card that Marionetter would set, you know, stuff like that, so it was really solid. And then that was it. They wanted to split the top, but I ended up walking away with a ton of OTS packs. It was insane, and I know it's just locals, but it was an awesome experience. And yeah, that's the deck, you guys. Sorry, really long deck profile, really long explanations. Hopefully you guys stuck around for it, but I tried to explain as much as possible. I really liked everything about my deck. Like, there's honestly nothing I would change. The side was insane. The extra was like perfect. Like, it's the same exact extra I played, but yeah, I'm still a fan of Gustav Max. If you don't want to play it, you don't have to play it, but I still really like it. Card's insane. And the fusions are nuts. Like, I absolutely love this deck. And the main deck was really solid this time. Like I said, the only differences were I played I played 2 Desires and a, what was the difference? I played 2 Desires, and can't remember what the last card was. Oh, I played like double Ogre or something like that. I think I played 2 Ogre and then only 2 Fusion. And yeah, I didn't like it. It just wasn't for me. Like, I wanted a clean 40, and this was the clean 40 I got, and it was great. So definitely I'm going to keep playing this deck. I don't go to locals that much. That's another reason I wanted to do this for you guys. Due to work, like in my schedule and everything, I can't always go to locals, but I was fortunate I was able to go these last 3 days. I am going to try to go to some UDS qualifiers, though, if I can rack up some days off and try to rack up more points. I already qualified for the UDS points-wise, but I want to get more, because the more you get, the more cool stuff the more points you get, the more cool stuff you get at events. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to smash that like button. Let me know your thoughts on the deck, any suggestions in the main or side, and I'll definitely try it out and let you know how it goes. So that's my locals report. I hope you guys enjoy it. Give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching.